truth is finally here. Okay guys, the attempted large dent repair you see here on a new Honda Civic is a perfect example of why large dent paintless dent repair should not be done like standard PDR. This repair was messed up because the tech didn't understand that this is primarily a collision repair, and that's how you need to plan your repairs for these large PDR dents. Just because we're saving the paint on collision repairs doesn't mean you just push up lows and take down the highs. That approach will not work here. Large dents are not just bigger versions of small dents. There are many more forces at work in the damaged metal here that need to be understood before they can be correctly and quickly repaired. Now, this tech probably thought that if he could just move enough metal, he would get a payable repair. I know this because I can see he just pushed hard on the bulk of the metal up in the front and rear door area, leaving the crowns and crash beam folds pretty much untouched. The tech also didn't know how to properly repair fold-over damage from a door brace, which you can see especially in the rear door area. The tech hammered on the fold-over area with a polished metal hammer, but unfortunately stopped before doing any serious damage. And by the way, I'm sorry this vehicle is white. I know this color is terrible for filming to show a good reflection. I prefer dark panels for videos, but this door was just too perfect an example of the difference between using the Fairmont method of sheet metal collision theory versus your standard PDR theory for large dent repair. So I couldn't resist filming with it. Oh, and apparently this damage was caused in a parking lot rage incident by a pretty big guy who kicked it twice down low near the front and rear edge and then kicked it up high by the front edge of the door. So 3 times total. But the worst problem of all here is the entire front area of this door is in an upset or compressed condition. And because of that, this front area of the door is doing what most techs would call oil canning. Now, most PDR techs think that you have to have stretched metal to have an oil can repair. Well, this area isn't stretched, even though it's behaving like stretched metal. Most PDR and auto body techs confuse stretched metal with what the Fairmont method calls upset metal, or as some techs call it, compressed metal. The reason they get confused here is because both stretched metal and upset metal act so much alike in damaged sheet metal. Problem is, each of these conditions, stretched metal and upset metal, have to be fixed in totally different ways, and if you pick the wrong way, you make matters much worse, just like this tech did with this attempted repair. Alright, now one more problem we're going to have with this repair. Whoever did this didn't count on the fact that this metal in this area is in an upset condition, and because of that, we are going to have, as always, oil canning. Very definite oil canning. And that's going to haunt us through the entire repair unless we put this panel back into tension. Right now it's an upset metal. We've got to put it back into a tension condition. Now, a question I get asked all the time is, does it really pay to take a door off a car and mount it to a machine like this? My answer is, you bet it does, especially when you have to use tension. I save typically third to a half or more time doing it this way. Taking a door off a vehicle and mounting it is about a 10-minute job on most vehicles for anybody with some experience. Okay guys, we're going to demonstrate now what compressed or upset metal is and what it does to our panel. This is a piece of plastic here with a grid painted on it. Now what happened when this was hit with a steel-toed boot, it looks like the toe of it made a stretched metal dent there. But the real problem is it looks like the guy hit it really hard with the heel of his boot or something in that area. And when he did, he hit this area hard enough to where it took the edge of the panel and pushed it slightly into the panel. And when that happened, it put the entire metal, the entire area here, into what we call an upset or compressed condition. And once that happened, it was over for this guy. He didn't realize that that's what happened, and that's the reason his repair turned out the way it did. So the only way that we're going to fix that is to put this metal back into tension, okay, back into tension, and when we do that, we have a nice tight panel again, okay? So compression, just a little bit, guys, is all it takes, just a tiny little bit, And there's no way we're going to get rid of that unless we put it back into tension. Okay? Of course, a little bit of, a lot more compression makes it even worse. And we can go all the way to there, obviously. So no compression at all. Just a little bit of compression makes it considerably worse. And the more compression you put, the worse it gets. There's no way you're going to repair a panel like this without putting it back into tension. This guy didn't realize that when that metal got pushed in and drew the edge further, this was a hopeless case. So he just pushed the bulk of this metal out, left that edge in a compressed state, and now he has upset metal through this entire area and the oil canning and everything else that's associated with that. So the only way this is going to get repaired, guys, back into tension properly, and most of that stuff is going to disappear, as you'll see. So guys, on your large dent repairs, this is very often the cause of those oil cans that you have such a hard time getting rid of. And the best way to get rid of them quickly and cleanly is with tension on this type of repair. All right, we're going to tackle this fold right over the pipe brace. Actually, it's a combination pipe brace and rectangular brace. We're going to take that fold out of there first. Those usually take quite a bit of time, but I'm going to show you a little trick here. We're going to use this technique here. We're going to put an airbag in between our skin and our brace, our pipe brace, or a combination pipe brace and rectangular brace. Then we're going to put a 060 aluminum plate ahead of that. And then on top of those, we're going to take a piece of leather, put the leather on top of those three. So we have like a sandwich. It's leather by leather, steel plate with an airbag in between. And we're going to put those in between the pipe brace and the skin. Then we're going to pump up this airbag, and that's going to force this sandwich into the back of our panel, and it provides us kind of a combination shock absorber and a dolly. And when we do that, all the tapping down work that we do, all the force is going to go exactly into that brace, that area there, instead of sending it through the rest of the panel. And you're going to notice it gets done much faster and cleaner that way. Well, let's demonstrate. Okay, here's what it looks like in the back of that pipe brace. Got a nice long, extra long airbag there. So we have our airbag, our metal, and our leather, and that's the back of our panel right there. So we're going to be hitting against that combination, and it's going to provide us a real nice backdrop there. We're going to be able to hit much, much harder than we normally would, and it'll come out very quickly and very cleanly. Those wedges we'll put in there temporarily to give us a little bit more space to put our bag in. We can take those out. And by the way, most of that airbag went through the bottom of that pipe brace because the impact mostly took place at the bottom. That fold over took place at the bottom of that brace, so that's where we want most of our airbag pumped at, so it'll give us the most pressure there. Okay, now we're going to use a slapper and a dead blow hammer. The flat part of the slapper is going to be right on that pipe buckle, and we're going to be hitting it all the way through until we get the bulk of it out. I'm going to work it from about that point in. And we're going to speed things up a little because I know this gets pretty boring. Okay, it's time to move our airbag. It was so tight in there, when we got to this area, we had to put an airbag over here to give enough room to move the airbag. So sometimes you have to do that also. And we'll speed things up again. Okay, on that last one, to move the bag all the way to the end, it was so tight in there, I had to switch from 080 or 060 aluminum to 030, and just that little bit of difference enabled me to get an airbag in there. I also had to use one of these wedges to put it back between the skin to give me a little bit of extra room to get that airbag up there, but it went okay. We got it in, so let's do the rest of this. We'll speed it up one more time. Okay, got those sharp ridges out of it now. We'll put a couple cleanup tap downs in there, just a little bit. But the basic thing is that bridge is gone. Just got a little bit of fine tap down work to do there, and we'll be done. I think you guys can see that that sandwich material works very, very well. The reflection still looks just a bit pinched there, but after we take the airbag out, that should be pretty much flat. We're going to leave the airbag in there though while we do our tension pull, just in case we need it. Now, one of the nice things about a setup like this is this converts to just a standard mode, putting tension on or whatever you need. And all you got to do is take the lock off here, convert it to table mode, sit down, and do your dent. Very quick, very clean, lazy man's way of doing it. You can just access to anywhere at the bottom here and work the rest of that out. And by the way, it isn't necessary to completely strip a door like this. This car belongs to a mechanic, and I asked him to gut the door before he bought it to me, and I didn't think he was going to take me quite this literally, but it makes it easier on me. So we have standard mode, tabletop. The lock broke. I haven't got another one welded yet, but it's just another collar that goes up there and holds it nice and taut. We're also going to speed up our touchdown work with a tap down. I know that gets boring too. And we're going to speed up our tool work just a little bit here. We want to fix some of the hammer marks that tech put in here. Okay, just a quick run through for the camera. We're going to be putting pull plates here next, so there's no sense in finishing right now, just in case the pull plates cause a little bit of damage. While editing this, I discovered I forgot to take footage with my finishing board to show you horizontally how that little pinch that was caused by that airbag was gone, but I forgot to do it, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, we're back in regular mode here, and we're going to put tension on this area right here. This is the area that was oil can. This is the area that was hit the hardest. We're going to put tension on it, remove those crowns. Now how we're going to put tension on this, guys, this is going to be a little bit different than I would normally do it. I'm going to put about 20%, no more than 30% tension from here to here. But most of my tension is going to be here. I got my quarter power here locked on this arm. That's going to keep this area stiff, and I'm going to pull tension here so that localizes my force and just keeps it in this area right here. So that quarter power there is going to anchor it to my hood stand and localize my forces from there to there. Should have a very easy time of this. Okay, next we're going to do a quick demonstration of how we attach this pull tab to the panel. And we'll speed the film up a little bit again. Okay, now we're going to put our tab on the front panel again. Alright, we've got our tab on here, put a new one on. I'm going to put tension on right now, and like we said, we're going to use this one for about, this tab right here will keep about 20% of our tension on. This tab is going to take the bulk of it. I have this quarter power here, so it localizes my force, and I'm pulling only in this area. So this is the door stand right there. This is locked against the pulling machine, so it can't move, and that's going to localize my force instead of having to pull all the way there. Only I'm doing about 20% that, and 80% localized force right here between the door stand and the frame. Okay, start putting tension on now. I can see the crown coming right down. Maybe just a little bit more. Right about there, probably. Get a bit more, right about there. You don't need any more than that. Now we're going to take our wooden paddle and our hammer, and we put our glasses on first, almost forgot. There we go, now I can see. And it's going to take surprisingly light amount of pressure, guys. That's it. That's it. Washed right down. Good. Then over here. There, a little bit more right there. Right there. Beautiful. Okay, we're about done with our natural reflection. We're going to hook our mini light up now and speed up the video a little bit. And I believe we're about done. Nice and straight now. Maybe just a little bit of dinging with a master tool. Right on this spot here. And we're ready to take our pull plates off completely. Now the first thing we're going to notice after we've taken our glue off, no more oil can. Much, much, much tighter metal. So we pretty much got our oil can problem solved. Let's go to the edge here. Have some lows, of course. And our horizontal pressure traps are looking a lot better. Still need just a little bit of work, but we'll put it back into tail mode for that. There's our impact point, of course, still right there. We'll be getting that probably dead last here. And I don't know what we're going to be able to do about his metal tap down marks there. He spaced those way too far apart. He used the right tool, but the wrong process, the wrong technique. But in color sand, is about all we're going to be able to do. Okay guys, as mentioned, our glue tabs are off, and we did a quick little pan there to show you how much putting tension on improved the panel. Now, like we said in that first video on large dent repair, we're going to go after our horizontal pressure traps. Everything's done in the right sequence. Now to do that, I put it back in the table mode, and the reason I do that is I like working horizontal on these rather than bending over and going all the way down to the bottom of the door. What I do is I use my knee with this. I just I don't move my head hardly at all on my reflection. I just let the table do the work for me. Okay, my reflection is right overhead. So I'm going to start at the bottom. And, oh, by the way, when you use your blending hammer, never take the cover off of it until you're ready to hammer. It'll save you having to reface your hammer. And let's go. Now we're not going to get the impact point. We're going to go just from impact. We're going to save the impact point for last. Looks like a steel-toed boot hit that. I swear it does. Okay. And by the way, with this jig, you can put tension on in the table mode as well as you can with it in the vertical mode. It's not an issue whatsoever. Sometimes it's a lot easier to put tension on it when it's in the table mode. And time to speed the film up again. Okay guys, I just can't stress enough that if this tech had not just pushed the damage out, but let tension move the metal for him like water, most of what we're doing right now would not have been necessary. This metal would have moved itself, there'd be very few pressure traps, and we would have probably been done with this repair by now. This is necessary because, well, we have to fix his mistake. Still looking for horizontals. A little bit there where our brace was, still got a little bit of a high there, where it folded around that rectangular pipe brace. My airbag in back here, it's not necessary, it's not nearly as bad as it was down here, so there's no need for an airbag in back of this and the leather. So. Okay, looking good. Oh, spoke too soon. I put the tab right there, and sometimes if you pull hard, you'll get a little bit of a tension mark there. We didn't this time. We didn't put that much pressure on it. It wasn't needed. So I always double check, and yeah, that area looks good, but I missed a spot down here on our first go around, so I don't know how I missed that. Oh, and by the way, we did take our airbag sandwich out of there as soon as we got finished with our tension pulls, so we're just hammering bare metal now. Work it, of course, you can get your head way back if you need to. Well, I missed that one too, doggone it. Okay. And done. Looking like we're about done with this part. Okay, now we're going to check for any 45-degree pressure traps. Run our board at 45 degrees to the damage. Nothing there. Nothing there. Like we mentioned in that large dent theory video, guys, we do everything in sequence. Horizontals first, then 45s, then finally vertical pressure traps. Don't get this out of sequence or you'll pay for it. No. We're okay to go as far as 45-degree pressure traps are concerned. Time to go vertical. Alright, we're going to take out what's left of any vertical pressure traps that we've got. Okay, finally time to pick up our lows. We can finally go to tool. We'll speed things up again. Alright guys, not to beat a dead horse here again, but this is why I stress so much that metal should move like water, not be forced out. You'll never get a quick finish doing this kind of stuff, guys. Anybody can move metal. The trick is to let the metal move itself and get your finish as fast and as clean as possible. And that will not happen here. Anybody can force metal out. The trick is doing it in the right sequence and in the right way so that your finish almost takes care of itself. Almost everything we're doing here, guys, has been unnecessary. It's really unfortunate. If this guy had just understood basic metalworking theory, he could have gotten paid for this and I would have never seen this job. Okay, time for another tech tip. We're going to put what I call stackable dolly plates in between the inner skin, the frame there, and the outer skin. And what that's going to do is help our line that isn't moving very well to move much more freely. This is where the tech that messed this up really had an issue with. He put some pretty big divots in it. This is going to solve that issue and help our lows to move quite a bit easier. Okay, I'm going to put the stackable dollies between here and right about there, as far down as we can get them, because that line is going to move out a heck of a lot easier like that. So we take our plates, and you can get these at Home Depot, put them together. We've got our plates in there, and then we grab a dolly, force them into that area, nice and tight. Okay, I was able to force one more plate between the plates and the frame of the door. That's going to give me a much tighter surface to hammer off of and work off of. Okay, we've got our metal plates forced in there. Everything's nice and tight. And we're going to start taking this down. Okay, I'm able to hammer my metal knockdown with about 1/4 the amount of force that I normally would, and it's coming out much cleaner, much quicker, and it's forcing that general load to come right out of that panel a heck of a lot cleaner than it would if I were just doing it against unsupported metal. This trick really does work, guys. It takes a bunch of time off this area. You have to use a metal knockdown for this, guys. Plastic will not do. It has to be metal. There's a metal knockdown to get this edge a little bit better before we color sand it. These plates are also going to enable us to clean up the mess that this guy left on the edge, because he also used a metal knockdown, which I found kind of funny, because usually techs that do that kind of work don't use metal knockdowns, but he did. So this is going to help us to flatten out his work. It's not going to make it perfect by any means, but it's going to be a lot better, and we'll color sand it, and it should pass. Like I say, it won't be perfect, but this is going to get it as good as it can get with the mess that we had to work with. We've got a little more pressure trap to take out here. Okay, we're going to finish this, kind of trim it out with a very, very sharp S-bend whale. Kind of custom made. It's like concrete. Very sharp, very nice tool to finish with. Head back here, and we'll speed up again here. And obviously those plates are out of the door edge now because we couldn't stick our tool down otherwise. Okay, we're going to just do a quick hand pull on this. Not enough to raise the metal above the panel. A little more. We're working on that kick-in dent at the bottom of the door right now, and we're just going to glue politely that stretched metal up. We don't want to move it into the surrounding panel, and when we get what we can with glue pulling, we'll sharp tool the rest of it up. We're definitely not going to pop it because I don't want to put stretched metal into the surrounding area of the panel. Alright, we're going to use a very sharp tip tool to get that dent over here out, and some heat, about 160. Okay guys, now what about if you could not have used tension on this repair for whatever reason? Could you still got it not clean enough to sell? Yes, you still could have gotten it to a 95% repair. It would have taken you a lot longer than with tension. The trick is though, you'd have to release the pressure in the right sequence, not just push the metal out, but help the crown to move into the metal like we discussed in that first large dent theory video that we did, and a lot of other things. But yes, you still could have done it, again, not near as fast as with tension, but it could have been done. Okay, we're going to run a reflection through it. We're going to pay attention to that no at the front area there. That's where we have our most problem. You can see there was a little bit of pitch there. We couldn't get everything the guy did out of there, but we did pretty well. You got a couple of brush touch spots there you can see as we're panning. Customer knew they were there. He gave us the touch-up paint to fix it. Okay, we got this light at full intensity, so it should show maximum detail. Like we said, the edges are the weak spot here. The guy left us with a mess, and there was only so much we could do with it. Wish he hadn't used a metal knockdown. If he hadn't, I think it had turned out beautiful, but it's a 95% plus repair. Customer should be very happy with it.